Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. I work for Burning Man. I have since 1996. And when I say I work for Burning Man, I mean I'm a facilitator of culture. To oversimplify it, Burning Man is a gathering in the Black Rock Desert of Nevada. How about this? There we go. Burning Man is a gathering of 70,000 people in the Black Rock Desert of Nevada. And at the end of the event, we burn the sculpture of a man. But that's oversimplifying it. What we're really doing is helping people live more creative and connected lives. I am not here today to tell you about why you should go to Burning Man. What I am here to do is to give you some idea of why the event can happen anywhere, anytime, any day. The culture is, and the spirit is, very communal. I think you might see some similarities, as Patrick said, with the Japanese culture. I travel extensively to talk about Burning Man, and people always ask me, how can I go to Burning Man? The problem is, we have a capacity issue. We really can't handle many more people. So it is my job, and actually I feel it is the job of anybody that's ever been to Burning Man, to tell the story of why Burning Man is more than an event. It actually is a way of life, and it's a way of looking at yourself in the world. See, Burning Man changes people. It causes a cultural shift in the way that we communicate and the way we relate to each other. It's kind of a practice field, if you will, where the joy and the happiness you might experience at Burning Man can actually be nurtured and tended to when you go back home and you don't have the distraction of the dust and the noise and the sleeplessness and the traffic. It actually is an experience of living that you can bring to your everyday life. The organization actually puts up minimal infrastructure. We have no food stalls, we have no beer stands, we actually don't sell any water, and have no trash cans. What we have is radical self-reliance and radical self-expression together. And that gives people an opportunity to look at themselves differently and more authentically. And what they might do is they might take on a personality or a character. They might find themselves amongst others taking on the same character. And in the course of doing that, find themselves connected to a group. And in the course of that, part of a greater whole. Burning Man happens for 9 days. However, all of the content is brought there by the participants. We actually start with nothing. And then several hundred staff members come together to build the infrastructure. One of the first things we do is build a fence, 9 miles, it's about waist high. And inside of that fence, we actually have 6 square miles of open space. We orientate the city eastward. We build roads, street signs, we actually have a radio station, and an airport. And all of that is so that over 70,000 people from around the world can come and create and collaborate and connect together. What happens when people connect and collaborate together? Well, it gives them a sense of playfulness. And in the sense of connectivity and playfulness, they want to do it more. And when they want to do it more, they want to take it back to their daily lives. However, there is a challenge in our daily lives. We're very driven by the making and spending of money. So at Burning Man, we've removed money as a part of the equation. In fact, cell phones do not work. Internet is sort of intermittent, and money is virtually useless. The participants are given an opportunity to actually only buy coffee or ice. And what that does is it sets a space for the individual to actually be experimental and try new things. You might be walking along and look down and see a large rope, and you pick it up, and you find that you're one of 300 people that are pulling a giant Trojan horse across the desert. It's really a living laboratory. It's a place on earth that people tell me they've never really seen the inner debate between the individual and the community. We ask people to behave in civics. We ask them to engage in the bigger picture. We ask them to participate in the greater whole. But again, it really isn't possible for everybody to come to Burning Man. So, these 6 leaders that you see here decided to go on a little adventure. And in 2011, we took a look at the structure of the organization, which was a privately owned corporation. And we realized if we're going to take what we're doing out for the public good, we actually needed to create a nonprofit. See, we hadn't really intended to have the for-profit for too long. It was just convenient and it was easy to do. So in 2011, we started a process that took 3 years. And now we have an organization called the Burning Man Project with 19 board members, and it's a not-for-profit. And the goal and the mission of this group and the organization is to take the experience, to take the connective culture that people get from being at Burning Man and to take it out into the world. We're really a network. We're a network of individuals, and we're going to help network and connect people together that appreciate and want to manifest the Burning Man experience. See, it doesn't just happen in the United States. It actually is happening all around the world. There are 225 Burning Man designated regional contacts in 28 countries and 6 continents. There's actually a group in Japan. Burning Man Japan. Last year, 250 people, friends, went out to the desert and went out to a beach in Chiba and built a beautiful phoenix together. And then they burned it. This network of friends continues to grow. It continues to grow in Japan, and the organization is dedicated to creating the tools and networking the culture together so it can continue to be worldwide. We found ourselves studying our own event, and we found others studying us, and we found ourselves studying what was happening out in the world, and we asked ourselves, what is it? What is the essence of Burning Man? Why is it successful? Why can it be transformative? And we found ourselves answering that with a couple of questions, a couple of words that we call the Burning Man principles. There are 10 of them. And ideally, those principles all work together. For instance, this art piece was about 70 friends, some artists, some volunteers that have actually never done artwork before. It took 6 months to build this rocket. Adults and children climbed in and out of the rocket all week. There were no ropes. They just helped you go in and out of it day and night. And they used to tease everybody saying the rocket was going to take off. There was even a performance where it looked like it was about to. But what it really did was it took off around the world, and it went to other places. And eventually, it landed on the waterfront at San Francisco. This was a radical, self-expressive, very communal, very civic-minded, participatory experience. Another example would be around disaster relief. In 2005, during the Burning Man event, Hurricane Katrina devastated the shores of Louisiana and Mississippi. And Burning Man participants, most of them did not know each other, found themselves there wanting to help. They built a camp, and they used the principles that they knew from Burning Man and worked together for 7 months. At the end of the 7 months, they felt extremely bonded by this experience, and they decided to call themselves Burners Without Borders. To this day, they still are a shining example of civic responsibility. Anybody can be a member. You show up, you participate, you help, and you collaborate. It's not just disaster relief. They actually do community projects all around the world. They have been to Peru, they've been to Haiti, they've done work in Africa, and they actually had members in Japan after the 3/11 earthquake and contributed there. See, in 1995, I went to Burning Man, and it changed the direction of my life. It changed the way that I wanted to collaborate and connect with other people. In 1996, when I met the organizers, I knew I wanted to help bring this very connective, creative, explosive culture to the world. I had no idea that after 17 years, I would be overseeing and leading an organization, a $30 million business, and a worldwide transformative culture. Burning Man started on a beach in San Francisco when Larry Harvey and his friends made a sculpture of a man, and they took it to the beach and burned it over the summer solstice in 1986. In 1990, it went to the desert. It went from a one-night beach event to a 3-day event. And now, in 2014, there will be over 70,000 people connecting, creating, and collaborating in the northern Nevada Black Rock Desert. There are tens of thousands of people who have experienced Burning Man, but it is not possible for everybody to be at the event. So all these people are now the storytellers. They're the facilitators of the culture, and we will be making it happen everywhere. And what we all have in common is a knowledge of something that we call Burning Man's 10 principles, from radical inclusion all the way to immediacy. These are the defining principles that you'll find are similar in the Burning Man culture. I will leave you with this question. If you gave yourself permission to be more creative, more connective, what would your story be? Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu.